I know we have had some list component in the past, but now we have a much more enhanced component. A lot of this functionality actually came from CHI Health. So CHI Health component picked up this functionality from one of the out-of-the-box component in AEM, which allows you to create the list in many different ways. So far, most common list we have been using in the enterprise build is the news. And in the news, all we have to do is point it to a particular folder, and it will look for all the news templates and will generate the list out of it. This particular list component is generate. It does not rely on the news detail template. It can point to any section of the site and can generate the list in various different formats. So I'm going to show you what those formats are. And then, of course, we can get into the details of how do we build those. So this is the same list component defined with different variations. So let me show you what I have from a structure perspective. I have taken the national site. This is the area structure I am working on right now, where almost all, I think so, all the search I'm doing is pointing to this particular path, content, national under mission. And what I have over here is that I have a foundation, which have a lot of profiles. Then I have a spirituality at work, and an advocacy, which have few pages. Then you have a third level pages below as well. Now this is important for us because as per the requirement, all the list components are doing can only go 2 level down. It will not go 3 level down. There are ways to get it to it, but based on the requirements, it will only go 2 level down, not 3 level down. That means I can point it to our mission, and I can see all the pages below our mission. So that's what these components have set up. So this component name is called dynamic list. It allows you to set up the build list using the children pages. Now we have had this functionality for a while. All these others are the one which we have added over it. But at the same time, in the children pages also, there have been some more options available for us, is what is called the recursion depth. Do you want to see the children directly below this page, or do you want to see children at the 2 level? So this is with the no recursion. This is recursion up to 1 level down. We can also use a search term. So rather than searching for all the pages as is, we can define a search term to say, okay, still look for it, but find the term advocacy and only give me the pages which have this keyword getting used anywhere. So you are defining almost like your custom list using the search term and then displaying the results. I'll continue going forward with the multiple option, but there is any questions in general functionality of what we're trying to do from a list perspective, which is creating the list, or rather the links to the pages using different combinations. Okay. So the list, we could use the search term. You could use the tags as well. So this is another enhancement to here is we can define the page, and then you can associate any number of tags to those pages within that structure. And here I have gone ahead and associate these 3 pages with this particular tag. So I can say, give me all the pages within this structure which are part of this particular tag. So that gives you an option to get you the list with the search term, with the tag. I'll get to advanced search in a bit. And then you can make this list more interesting. So far what we were seeing, that we were seeing this list with just the links. We can display not just the link, but we can display some text around it as well. So we have an option in this to select to say, I want to display the description, as well as I want to load, display an option to show a load more button. How this option will work for us is, suppose there are many pages which you can display. So rather than displaying all of them and taking the space, you can hide the rest of the list and only display some. And when you click on the load more, it will display some and keep on loading it. So it gives you more options available in the list, but in a shorter area, and then you can keep loading it. This option can be combined anywhere. So this particular option of load more could be used with anything. You can also define, which is what we call the limit the number of links. So Suppose you are running against the site, a section which may have 50 links, but you only want to display 10, the top 10 which shows up, you can limit that as well. So here, same list, which we have seen it before, is just limited to number of 6 items. So it just gives you an option to play with it, especially from a dynamic nature of it. You can, of course, create a static list, which is I can go ahead and say, I want to just create this list one by one. Then you can define that structure and add those items one by one. We already had this feature, what we call for article list, for creating a news type of system. Here you have an option to do that for any number of templates rather than just for the news.
Mm-hmm. And Naresh, can you explain to them where the description is pulling from if they decide to dynamically pull in the description?
Absolutely, that will be the next step. I just want to show the image option as well. So finally, we also have an option to display this list with the link, the text, as well as the image. So this option here, checkbox, allows me to display the images and description. Now, as Brittany just asked, where is this image and description is coming from? For that one, let me open these pages. I'll go to the properties. So we had an option to use basic description from over here, but we decided not to do it because sometimes you may want to have your SEO description to be different than what your page description has to be. So we have created a new tab called List Description. This allows you to create a description, an optional description, which if it's used with the list component will end up displaying over here. So here the advocacy, this particular text is coming from this list description. And when you define the description, you also have an option to say, I want to enable a preview image. And what this preview image does, let me show it to you on the page itself. It will create an image component for you, which of course will only be displayed in the edit mode. If I go to the preview, that particular image will not display. It's just for allowing us to create an image which could be different in desktop versus tablet versus mobile. This is the regular image component. This one is only a dynamic list preview image. And I can choose any image over here. As you could see, this particular image was showing up. I can choose any image I wanted. I can even edit this particular image right here. Like any other standard editing we have done in the past. We can use this image, edit this up, make the changes, select any image I want. And I have an image here. And I can update through it. It will show, sorry, it is a little bit down below over here. This is the particular image. So what this gives you a particular option to visualize your list with a lot more information than just the links. By default, typically when we look at the list, the output of the list is list of links. That's what it really is meant for. But this particular functionality was in fact updated for the Author Hub. This is exactly the same component we are using in the Author Hub to create the preview images, to create the text and the link structure for all the particular components. So now if you want, you can create your own version of listing with the link and the text and the optional image. And this could be combined with any of these options. So right here, when I'm creating, let's say, this particular search with the recursion using the search term, even here, if I want to display the description, all I have to do is enable that particular fact. So these toggles on and off will work across all the options. And it's just up to you which option you're turning on and off. Okay. Finally, this is the big one, advanced search. I don't think most of us will be using it, but this feature was available in CHI Health and is available in one of the out-of-the-box component AEM, so we kept it. This basically breaks every structure out there saying there is no limit to what you want to display. You have to use an AEM query. You have to understand how this query structure works. Whatever you write will be available for you to display. So in this case, I said, I want to display of type page under this path, and there is no limit. Go all the level you want to down. So the biggest difference you are seeing, this human trafficking prevention links, are not available anywhere else because they were going only 2 level down. They were not going 3rd level down. But in advanced search, I was able to break it and get to the 3rd level if I want to. So advanced search, really, I would say be cautious about it. If you understand the AEM concept, please use it if you want to. But if you need some help, you can always reach out to us and the ITS team, and we should be able to help you set it up. But in general, I would say rule of thumb, I would say 9 out of 10 times you probably won't need this if you are creating a special list structure. And this functionality is available in production. This was part of the July release, which have gone in. So you would have a component, and the component to add will be, if I want to add a component, it will be called dynamic list component. This is the component which you will be using it. And once you have that component, you can select the options to configure how you want this to be. You want to build your list using any of these options. And what kind of restrictions or configuration you want to put this on top of the list.
Hey, Naresh, just a small correction. This is Udit. This actually went out in August. So this is the latest component that we have deployed in enterprise. I believe it was yesterday. So while the functionality is available, the Author Hub pages of those are actually a couple of days away. So sometime next week, you will also have the Author Hub content ready on how you can configure this on your page and things of that nature.
Thanks for correcting me. I saw some pages in the July sprint. I thought it was ready that time, so my mistake. Thank you. Team, any questions?
So this is awesome. And as you guys can tell, we're really working on creating these dynamic components to try to help. So if you add this, in certain places, it helps, streamline the content as well. So as you update it, it would update in this dynamic list component, which is awesome. So it'll help with our standardization of content, which is great. I think this is an awesome component for sure. Any questions from the markets? And I think this is a good example of working together as an enterprise. And this really, CHI Health had a particular component that we were modeling it off of, but we were also able to take it and build from there. So just a great example of if you guys have component suggestions, or hey, I wish that it did this, or here's an idea for consideration, please be sure to submit it on the request portal so that we can include it in the backlog and begin to work with you guys to provide value with components that just like this are coming from the markets, but then is benefiting everyone. So please be sure to submit your ideas or any thoughts that you guys have there so that we can take it and consider it for the backlog. Great work, Pro Karma and Preston Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, really fantastic. Great.
Awesome. Well, with that, that's all we have for today. So thank you guys for hopping on, and feel free to email if you guys have any questions. Hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.